What's up, buddy?
Hey, we're back. How are you, man?
I'm well. The lighting in your room is like perfect.
Oh, really?
Do I look too bright?
Nice. No one ever accused you of being too bright, buddy.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Right. I have the same issue. It's okay.
I think we're living up to the billing of saying two guys who don't take themselves seriously and also slamming each other. I think we got that done in the first sentence.
Right. Well, my girlfriend's kids, every time they see me, they're like, "Hey, how was the podcast? Two middle-aged idiots."
Two middle-aged idiots.
So what's new?
Well, I've said this once before. I believe it might have been in the episode that we had my buddy David on, but I went under contract in this house.
Has not aired yet, but will by the time this airs. So never mind.
You didn't even have to say that.
I know.
Right. A couple weeks ago, sure.
Right.
No, so what ended up happening was I went out to Bloomington, found a house that I liked, put it in a contract, and all of a sudden I get a call from my realtor saying, "Bad news, they're backing out of your contract with, the house back here in Denver." And of course, then I had to call the place that I just put the contract on and tell them, well, now it's just got to be contingent on me selling my place. And they're like, no, we want a contract to deal with you. So it was kind of a bummer, but they gave me a nice list from the inspection report, which gave me some things to take care of. And I've done my front yard. There's a picture of it right there popping up. I've just kind of done some stuff, making it look better, curb appeal. My second showing since I went on with Redfin was yesterday, and they're bringing a contract this afternoon, I think. So,
oh my God, that's such a great story. Are the movie rights available for that?
Actually, they are, and they won't cost you much. It's
great. Well, we could make a great feature film out of that for sure. Okay, that actually is a good segue, by the way, because this guy that we have on today, he's a prop master. He's more than a prop master. He's so much more.
A puppet master, like a
no, a prop master.
Oh, a prop master, right?
Properties are things that you hold. He's going to correct me on this, but it can include food. It can include not just things that the actors hold, but things that they use in many ways, very different from like set dressing, where it's just decoration, but it's things that the actors engage in. And sometimes prop masters can be armorers too, so they can also deal with guns. But in some cases, if they're not, they would deal with just the prop guns, the ones that don't actually shoot. But anyway, we'll get
Alec
into
Baldwin
a lot of
probably
that.
had an issue with.
Oh my God, I totally digressed. I'm sorry. Jesus, like what a fucking introduction. Anyway, without further ado, this guy is a total genius. Scott Buckwald, Scotty B, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you? Wow, it's been such a long time. It's so funny looking at you now. And because in my mind's eye, the last time I saw you was 29 years ago.
I know. And I haven't aged a bit, right?
You haven't. I mean, no more than I have.
Right.
It's the guy in the top right corner that looks like he's aged 40 years, and I haven't seen him ever.
Right.
Thanks so much. I will say this. I've come to the conclusion that Deren has a little bit of Rob Lowe to his look now. And my mom even said that he really does. You should say it on the podcast sometime. I'm like, what? You look like Rob Lowe?
I think we're going to get some comments like, yeah, maybe Rob Lowe after he got hit by a bus.
But it's really amazing because like seeing you here and talking to you, it's one of the scary things about being an adult, of which I'm sometimes accused of, that the time could wipe things out, but yet, I look at you and it really, I hate to sound cliche, but it seems like just yesterday.
It does. And part of that is because when you're on set together, I mean, you are in the fucking trenches. You spend a lot of hours. There's a lot of long days. And what did we work on? Was it just Baby Geniuses?
It was just Baby Geniuses. Yeah. We tried to, right after Baby Geniuses wrapped, I remember you, me, Ken Gotch, Bob Clark, we got together one of our houses about a project that was going to happen after that Bob was trying to do, and it never went anywhere.
Elves. I bet it was Elves.
Yeah, that I don't remember, but I do remember
Porky's 4. Porky's 4.
that you that you were going to production design it. Um, and it's amazing because what you said is so true, that when you're on a project, you work with people 18 hours a day, and it's not like being in a regular office where you're sitting in your cubicle, or you're going and doing your things. I mean, you are literally, not literally, but you are figuratively chained at the ankles for 18 hours. So the time that you and I spent together on Baby Geniuses, which was probably about 6 months, we spent the amount of time in 6 months that probably people in the real world would spend in 3 years.
So true.
And my memories of Baby Geniuses are so fond. It is probably one of the worst movies I ever worked on, but one of the movies I had the best time on. And that's great. I mean, for something so long ago, I have pretty much full recall of my days on that, the way I felt, a lot of the people on that, many of whom I haven't seen in so many years. Um, but I took away really good memories of that. And when I look at so many of the films I worked after that, especially a lot of TV movies, sometimes I don't even remember the movie, let alone having worked on it.
Oh, so true.
I'm curious. Either of you can answer this, but do you remember the cast of that? Because I remember when the movie came out.
Yeah.
Who all was in that? Who are the
Kim
stars?
Cattrall, Christopher Lloyd,
Kathleen Turner.
Kathleen Turner, of course.
That's a pretty impressive
Peter
cast.
McNichol. Peter McNichol was another one. Dom DeLuise.
Yep, Dom DeLuise.
Yeah.
It was great. And then my son was born during that movie. And
Theo.
And I remember my wife would come to set with him, and Kathleen Turner, just all she wanted to do was walk around holding him.
No.
So that is like such a, I tell him that now. I go, Kathleen Turner would take you as soon as you walked on the set, or as soon as you came on the set, and would just not want to give you up.
Oh my God.
After that movie was done, Bob Shapiro, one of the producers, gave us all of the clothes, we had his whole room furnished from Baby Genius. We did not have to buy him clothes because the movie was all kids, and we had a big placement deal with Baby Guests. My wife will say we did not have to buy him anything other than underwear and diapers for almost 6 years.
Holy shit.
So
that's awesome.
That is fantastic. Speaking of like product placement and getting these deals with these companies, do you remember this product placement guru, Bob Kovalov? I think I said his name right.
I could talk to you forever about Bob.
Yeah.
Bob Kovalov.
Yeah, I remember we would laugh so hard because he would always try to integrate weird products with scenes. He's like, okay, I see in the script these babies are talking or trying to talk about, breaking into this thing. Could they be eating chicken?
It's so funny because do you remember my assistant, Dave Clark? Do you remember Dave?
Dave, of course.
So Dave and I, for years, would say that. It would be like, okay, so the person is getting gang raped by a bunch of dolphins. Can he be eating chicken?
It's so true. Oh my God.
I have a quick question for you. Are you from the Philadelphia area or Jersey area?
I grew up, I was born in New York. My parents are both from Brooklyn. We lived in New Jersey until I was in 6th grade, and then we moved back to New York, where I went to high school and then beyond.
Okay, my ex-girlfriend is from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, outside of Philly, and she always says Doring instead of During. She'd say Doring.
Doring.
And I just noticed.
Yeah, Doring. Yeah.
So I noticed that. I said, wouldn't that be wild if you guys went to high school together or something? It's like it was your teacher that taught you how to say it that way.
So you just basically made fun of the way he speaks. Anything else?
He didn't make fun. No, he didn't make fun of the way I speak. He pointed out that he's not speaking correctly.
Exactly.
Oh, I see. The rest of the world is wrong.
Thanks for the save. Appreciate that.
Right.
So what? So
oh my God.
You mentioned that being Baby Geniuses being one of your most memorable experiences, even though it wasn't a great, overall film or whatever. But talk about like maybe your best and worst experiences in all your years of doing this. How many films do you have under your belt now? Or
I would have to look at my IMDb rating. I mean, mostly, a lot of the stuff I did in the '90s, before Baby Geniuses, then immediately after. I did so many TV movies of the week back when those were a thing. Um, and then as the 2000s started rolling along, I started doing more theatrically released films. And then when my son got to around 9 or 10, I started pulling away from feature work to do more TV because I wanted to stay home more.
Right.
And features were taking me all over the country. Um, but the TV I was able to do because I had a feature background. I was able to kind of go above doing sitcoms and smaller TV. Like I've done some major TV. I did Mad Men. I did The Shield, Sarah Connor Chronicles. Um, I
Wow.
and Sarah Connor Chronicles was the Terminator series, which
Yeah.
was still, I think the pilot to that show was as good as some of the Terminator movies. And then
Amazing.
I just recently finished after 5 years, The Old Man with Jeff Bridges, which
Oh,
wow, no
that is
kidding.
cool. I love
My
that.
maybe that might, if it's because it's so recent, I would say it's one of my favorite jobs. But it's definitely, if I had to pick 3 to 5 films that, given the time and the people I'm talking to, it would swap with being one of my favorites. Everything from working with Jeff Bridges and John Lithgow to the producers and everything about the show, the amount of work. There was nothing in that show was a culmination of everything I've done over the course of my career. Deren, when you were talking about what prop masters do, there was nothing in that movie that I didn't do. I
Right.
had major food scenes. We had huge weapon scenes. I had uh, manufacturing to do. We had big extra days. It's just anything that a prop master does was in evidence in that series.
Right. Right. And sometimes props have like, some sort of special physical things that they have to do. So you have to kind of combine that
Sure.
with like physical special effects, and making these things practical. Then you have to have dummy versions of that. And, depending how things are handled. So when people see something that's on a show, like, one little prop, there can be like 20 versions of that,
Oh
depending on
well,
how it's used.
there's always there's the prop master saying one is none. uh,
Yeah.
whenever you have a prop, we had a lot of fight scenes, so knives were always a big deal. So
Yeah.
whenever there's any kind of knife fight, you have two of the real knives, at least two real knives.
Yeah.
One is
For camera, for like
yeah,
close
yeah.
up.
One
Yeah.
is one will be very sharp, another will have the edge taken off. Then we'll have multiple rubbers. We'll have some that are only half blades, some that are just the handle, and then we'll have uh, different density rubber. We'll have some that are very hard, some that are very soft, depending on if the fight scene is going to get
right,
very
if the guy's going
intense. Right, and
really jamming him.
there's a lot of grappling. We'll have one that's almost sponge rubber soft, and they're all molded from the original. And that's something that I'll work with the stunt coordinator with, so that I fill their needs when
So
they
do you build
choreograph
these
their fight.
knives?
What's that?
Do you actually, when you said molding, do you actually like, build it kind of yourself, or you have to send it off to get it
For
manufactured?
that, there's a lot of stuff I do myself. Molding is not one of them. Um, it's I don't know how to do it, but it's something, at some point I just don't have the time to do all of
Right,
that.
right.
And the place, Studio Art and Technology, is who I get to do a lot of my manufacturing. If I was to put the real knife next to one of their rubber doubles, unless you touched it, you would not know which the real one was.
No.
It's more than just the molding. It's also the painting and the aging and the matching, and they're flawless.
Now,
Right.
are those behind you on the shelf? I assume those aren't old college memorabilia boxes. I mean, are those actually like, oh my God. Oh.
Describe to the audience what we're seeing here. And
So
where are you?
right now, I'm in my 48-foot trailer, which is parked at Independent Studio Service,
ISS.
ISS, and it's everything. I'm not on a job right now, but that's the back door, and that's the inside of the trailer that is being glared out by a little too much sun. And this is my office, so I do full graphics on here. I do light building, depending on the job. I particularly love doing graphics, but so it's something I do. But yeah, everything I need for a job, not including specialty called out props. I have a little bit of everything here. I have office supplies, and I have briefcases. I have police gear, tons of different tools, art
Do you have an
supplies.
LA? Do you have a Los Angeles Police Department badge?
Yes, I have a box of them.
Really?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. And the
I'm just wondering
badges.
how you can do that legally. I mean, don't they? I mean, you could literally put one on your belt tomorrow and walk into a
Well, it's
nightclub.
how it's used, and a
Well,
lot of these things you
there's
have to
a
have
lot of
permit.
things. There's a lot of things you can get legally that you could use for illegal reasons, and it's just do you want to take the repercussions of when things don't work go the way you're hoping?
Right.
I
I always thought it'd be.
I have a lot of weapons, and if I decide to hold up a 7-Eleven, they're not going to take too kindly about that, or at least haven't in the past.
Even if it is with a replica.
Oh well.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
But here's one of the.
Just for a note to our audience listening,
Oh, that's cool.
There's a visual component on this on YouTube. So if you want to log on to YouTube and see some of these shots and Scott's trailer, you can see this. It's pretty cool.
Or Tom's yard.
Or Tom's yard.
Yeah. Or Tom's River if you move to New Jersey.
Hey, there you go.
But all the weapons that we work with, weapons are a big thing along with the knives. Yeah. In Old Man, all of our weapons were real. So even though we're living in a post-Rust world right now, in conversations we had with Jeff Bridges in particular, he was comfortable. I am an armorer, so all the weapons were under my direct control. So every machine gun, every shotgun, every handgun was all my rental. I mean, we went as much as having 50 caliber machine guns on the roof of Humvees.
Right.
And now
since we're talking about that, so many people have asked me about, my just anecdotally, my thought about Rust and what happened, who bared responsibility. And one of the things that, I always remember, of course, the first AD is responsible for overall safety on set, but the armorer would never have a gun out and never hand it to someone else to hand it to them. They always do a safety brief and then tell the actor, tell the people in the close proximity, the actor, maybe the first and maybe the second AD.
Hold just a sec. Yeah. You never. This was something that I remember when we first heard it on the radio. You never tell an actor a gun is unloaded. You show an actor.
Yeah, completely.
You would never. I would never ever hand a gun loaded or unloaded, a replica, a rubber, or a real without showing if it's a rubber, I usually kind of bounce it on the tabletop. If it's a replica, I'll show them that even though it has the weight and feel of a real one, I'll show them why it's a replica. If it's a real one, I will clear the chamber with them. I'll show them down the barrel with a laser that the light goes through it. If we're firing blanks, I'll let them take a look at the blanks I'm going to put in the gun. So that, and I do that on, for multiple reasons. One of which, I don't want the actor to have their performance compromised, wondering what's in their hand. But at the same thing, there are a lot of people who have food allergies, and one of the things I do on any show when I first get the job is I will talk to the cast and ask them if they have any food allergies. I also talk to them if there's any food that they don't even want put in front of them because it disgusts them. Maybe whether they're a vegan and the idea of having meat in front of them is gonna really turn them off, or there's a particular food that's just their kryptonite that they don't want put in front of them. So
Liver and
those are all.
onions.
Excuse me.
Liver and onions. Don't even put it anywhere
Right
near
now,
Right.
me.
so with that kind of stuff, it's important that as much as an actor can't worry if there's tree nuts in their tuna sandwich, they also can't worry about the fact that the gun might not be safe. And that was really how I described the whole Rust thing. I think, unfortunately, um, there's Alec Baldwin had held two positions on that movie as an
Exactly. As
as
producer.
an
Yeah.
as an actor. As an actor, he has to trust in his prop person, and I don't believe he was at fault criminally. As a producer, I think part of the problem is that he he allowed a less than competent AD to take a position, and especially a prop master, an armor who was not ready for that kind of show.
No,
A
no,
lot of people say, well, her father is one of the biggest armorers in the business and
doesn't
this
matter.
and that. And that's true. He is. He's one of the biggest armorers of all time. But I've been working with weapons for 30 years, and my son knows virtually nothing about guns. So it's not like it bounces off of me and sticks to him. So the fact is that she was young. It has nothing to do with her sex or anything like that. It's it's you. I think for being an armorer, it's also more than just knowing weapons. She grew up around guns, and obviously she took an interest in them, so she probably knew a lot about guns. But she didn't know how to control the use of weapons on set. And part of that came into example. I was doing Queen of the South. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but
Right.
a very big drug cartel movie, tons of weapons. And
I love it.
a,
Yes, absolutely.
a friend of mine, one of my closest friends from growing up, he had just retired from the military, and he wanted to work with me. And I let him, he was able to maintain our weapons, and he was a weapons specialist in the military. He was a sergeant after, he retired with almost 30 years on his belt, knows more about weapons than I could even imagine. However, he knew nothing about how to handle weapons on a movie set.
Right.
So it took him a long time, because one of the things is you're dealing with people who know nothing about weapons, where in the military, you're dealing with weapons amongst people who deal with weapons. So I think she was set up to fail. The single biggest mistake she made, and this has nothing to do with no matter how little experience or how much experience she has, bringing live ammunition onto a movie set is I don't even know where to begin to say how
Why was it
stupid
Right.
even
that.
there to begin with? I mean, they don't.
Yeah, it also, you don't let people use the props. That
No,
gun, when it's on a
never.
movie set, it's now a prop. If I was on a show, when I did Game Plan, a football movie with Dwayne Johnson, uh, what I did is when I was prepping, I bought about 20 footballs specifically so when we were having lunch, since we were shooting in where the Patriots play in New England, in that stadium, what was it, Kraft Stadium? Is that, I can't remember the
Right,
name of the
right.
stadium.
Robert Kraft. Yep.
I knew all of the crew would be asking me to borrow footballs. And I'm not going to give them a camera use football at the risk of it getting dirty or lost or whatever.
Scraped
So
up.
at lunch every day, I would have a box of footballs. And if they wanted one, I bought footballs for them to play with. Um, I don't want people playing with magazines on the set. I mean, if it's a prop, no one touches it. So,
Right.
her big things were bringing live ammunition was, I think if you put stupid into Google Maps right now, it would bring you to her house to show you that's about as dumb can be. And you don't let people touch the props. The fact that the AD picked up the gun and handed it to Alec Baldwin shows me that he had zero respect for her. Even if she did not know what she was doing and he was the most experienced AD in the world, he should have known that's a line not to cross. And if
Completely.
if I was on a movie set, and I mean, Deren, you know me, I'm a pretty, jovial guy on set. I like to kind of be the Hawkeye Pierce on the movie set. But if if an AD had reached into a box and taken one of my weapons, I would immediately take the weapon back and tell the producers either this guy is fired right now, or I'm leaving with all the weapons. I mean,
Right.
that
Exactly.
is that is such a line not to cross, and the fact that he did it, he deserved everything he got. Uh,
Yeah. Right.
I think there was a lot of mistakes that happened on it. Um, I hear a lot of people talking about Alec Baldwin being the producer, but I think people in the industry know a lot of actors are given producer credits, but they're not really producing. So I don't know how involved he was in the hiring of people. My guess is he was a producer in credit only, um, and maybe was involved in putting the show together at its initial. But once the filming began, he was an actor. Um, he did not kill that woman. The prop killed the woman. And, I think the biggest mistake he made was that when he was given the gun and told it was cold, he should have said, "Don't tell me, show me." But that's not his job to know the procedure. That was the job of the person giving him the weapon. And
Right.
the AD wouldn't know to do that because it's an AD, and the AD shouldn't have been touching the guns.
Right. And an AD, I feel like should have known too. An experienced AD would be like, This isn't protocol. Okay, this person's in charge. Scott or whoever is in charge of this, walk us through."
Right. And if the AD feels that the armor, I mean, the AD's job is set safety amongst other things. If the AD felt that the armorer was not experienced enough, that was that AD's job to say, you know what, this person really should not be doing this job. We need to bring in somebody who's a little more on top of it.
And those people that have done this for a while, I know looking back on some of the early productions that I did, I know what the weight of production can feel like.
Of course.
When you've got 100 people physically there in front of you, kind of yelling at you, and and you're in a time crunch and you feel this incredible pressure just to get things done. I think an inexperienced person will either say, "Oh, it's going to take 2 minutes," when it's in reality
Right.
going to take 15 minutes to turn something around. Or here, yes, you can have this, instead of saying, "No, I'm in charge. We need to do this by
Right, and
protocol."
that's why, if I was the armorer on Rust, it never ever would have happened. First
Right,
of all, it never would have happened because there never would have been live ammunition on the set. But
right,
what also would never have happened is there never would have been a climate where the AD felt for a moment they could reach in and take a wristwatch to give it to an actor, let alone a gun.
right.
I
Exactly.
mean,
That's
I
so
mean, no
true.
sooner, no sooner could you imagine an AD jumping in a picture car and driving it to set because they don't want to wait for the picture car coordinator, or grabbing a camera out of the camera truck because they don't want to wait any longer. It's also a general disrespect for the prop department all around,
Yeah.
which is a whole nother issue.
And that speaks loudly about some of those really low budget films. And some of those low budget films I know can be great. It can be a great experience.
And I
But
had many of
man,
them.
you have to have some people in charge that know what they're doing, at least your department heads.
Yes, totally. Low budget is a low budget is a great place to learn. There's I know that when I look back, a lot of the movies I worked on early in my career, there's a reason they hired me, because I was inexpensive. I was willing to do it, and they wouldn't have been able to afford me now. Everybody, there's an ass for every seat. Um,
Right. Right.
so and but there's also a reason why I feel like I've moved along in my career, because when I was in those situations, I didn't do anything that I either didn't know how to do or I knew I shouldn't do. um, it's not just by luck that people make it through the system, whatever their job is.
I have,
um,
I have, I was gonna say I have two questions real quick that I don't want to my ADHD often sometimes makes me see. I've already forgotten them right now. See, perfect example.
Okay, well, while you're asking that, is Dave still your assistant?
No, Dave, he's still one of my best friends, and we talk to each other um, like family. Um, he left the business quite a while ago. He left the business around 2001. His wife hated living in Los Angeles, so they moved uh, back to Virginia, which is where Dave was born, even though we met each other in high school. And Dave, Dave is a brilliant, brilliant builder. He started his own home remodeling, and I mean, Dave could do anything from rebuild a house to put an addition on to what have you. Um, so he started a company called Richmond Rebuilders, and been very successful at it. Uh, I mean, we see each other, but we talk all the time.
Yeah, you guys were so great together, and man, you talk about like being the what do you say, Hawkeye Pierce
Yeah,
of on that. You were always so professional, but so funny. And I think that's what made the days so memorable and so enjoyable is that you made it fun on set. I remember looking over at you guys and you would maybe be in like one of the rooms on set and I'd be like, where's Scott? And you'd look over there to another room. Again, this is a false room on stage. And you'd be like sitting on a chair or something with your pants down and holding
a
holding the
newspaper.
newspaper up, as if you were taking a dump. And so
That was a staple of our of the Scott and Dave show. Um,
completely.
He was
there
your
were times
hot
I
lips
remember.
Houlihan.
If
He
you
was
happen
your.
to have any pictures of that, please send it. I want to throw it
Oh, I have.
online.
Are you kidding? I have it. I'm surprised I don't have it on a T-shirt.
Probably.
So anyway,
Actually,
so
I even have. Hold on, I want to see something. Oh yeah, here. Just so you know, here it.
Wait, what is this? What am I looking at here?
oh my
Describe what
God.
we're looking at.
This is a photo of our kids doing the pants down around their ankles.
Oh my God, that is
Oh, that
great.
is
And in
great.
black and white, no
Um, yeah, but I mean, I really miss Dave. I had such a wonderful time when we worked together. Um,
yeah. So who's your assistant now?
Mark Richardson has been my assistant pretty much since the time Dave left.
Okay,
Um,
great.
and then I actually knew Mark before Dave and I started working together. Mark and I were working together, and then Mark went off to do Power Rangers for however many years, and Dave and I started working together. But I mean, Dave and I met each other when we were kids.
Nice. Okay, so Tom has a
So
question.
the
Go ahead.
questions that yes, I had two questions. First of all, how does one decide, you know what, I really want to do prop master work? I mean, what first, ignited that passion? And second, is there anything else you'd rather do? Or you like love what you do? Is this like,
I
I lucked out in this, life for a career?
Second question first. I love doing this. Um, to the point where I still can't believe this is how I lucked out to make a living. It is it's playing in the woods with little green army men and GI Joes, and I found a way to make a living at it. Um, I've been asked the first question so many times that I really should have a patent answer for it, which I don't. The way I got into it is I wanted to work in film. Whether it was going to be as a comedy writer or as an actor, it's something I always wanted to do. No one in my family did this, so I just didn't know what to do. I started working as a PA, and the prop department, I was attracted to it because it felt very natural to me. I've always been a collector. I went to school for historical research, so the researching part was fun. Um, I was always kind of a jack of all trades. I'm good at model building. I was always good at tinkering, rewiring lamps when I was a kid, that kind of stuff. So it was something I took to, and it was also something that allowed me a level of creativity and artistic freedom. uh, I knew that like the more technical positions, the grip and electrics, the camera crew, just I wasn't interested in it. Um, Props just seemed like something that was special for me, and
Wow, that's
That's great.
awesome. I mean, one of the things I was just going to say that I'm a voice actor. That's what I do for a living, and I'm trying to think, well, what else would I want to do if I weren't doing this? Because I really enjoy it. I have ADHD. It's hard for me to. I couldn't sit in a cubicle like talked about earlier when Deren talked about
that's me.
working. Yeah,
I used to
and
have
I'm also no, I was just going to say that, what else would I want to do? Well, I'd either want to be playing guitar on stage and singing or acting like I've done some of that, in front of a camera or in front of a microphone. I was a radio personality for years, so I'm very comfortable in front of a microphone, but I couldn't do anything where I have to do the same thing for so
right.
many hours a day with no creativity, with the same days, the same every day. Ah,
Well,
that's a
that's
nightmare.
what's great about working as a prop master. A lot of the technical positions, a grip and the electricians, the transpo people, they do the same job for the most part every film. But if you look at my resume, I have to be a character non gratis in a way in every job that I do. So when I did Switched at Birth, I had to be a 16-year-old deaf high school girl. Um, and I know that sounds kind of funny and can get a smirk, but they can't have props coming from a middle-aged man. I had to I had to create a character so that when I gave these kids props, it made sense. In the old man, I had to be a retired former CIA super spy, and I had to understand what was going through his head. It's not enough just to go to the prop house shelf and provide stuff. You need to get into that character and understand every character. When the director asks me, we need Jeff Bridges to be cooking, Scott, come up with something. I can't just say, all right, I'll just have him make peanut butter sandwiches. Um, or maybe I do say he should be making peanut butter sandwiches because that's what he would make. And the director goes,
Or eating
the
chicken.
direct, like, for instance, one of the last episodes of the old man, um, he was making homemade macaroni and cheese. And at first, the director was like, "Really, macaroni and cheese?" I'm not talking about Kraft macaroni and cheese. I'm talking about really good homemade macaroni and cheese. It'll give him a lot of things to do. He could be grinding the cheese and just all the different ingredients, and it we could shoot it the same way we shot a scene an episode earlier where he was putting this high-tech listening device together, and he has all his ingredients spread out on the table, and he's kind of choosing them and assembling this, and you do it with the same kind of feeling that you did that, and they loved it. And at
Precision.
the end of the
Yeah.
scene, Jeff actually came up to me and he said, he goes, Scott, thank you for helping me with this scene. You really gave me, as he goes, as an actor, you really gave me something great to do. And hearing that
That's
from Jeff
fantastic.
Bridges, it's it's great because at the end of the day, I'm still like this, Scott Buckwald in high school, and the idea of Jeff Bridges saying, Scott, well done, it's like inside you're going, yippee, Jeff thinks I'm cool. Right, and it is, when I interview for a job, one of the things I tell people is that in a way I'm the production designer of the prop department. I become a total geek for whatever job I'm working on. Doesn't matter whether I'm in the demographic of the show or not. When I'm on that show, it is the best show in the world. And I I love
Yeah.
Hey, Darren, did you say
it.
you had
No.
something to do? Did you just get a knock on your door or something?
No, I think I'm like right in the middle of a fucking tornado right now. So I'm in Kansas City. There's a huge, huge storm. I'm looking out my window. Like things are just going crazy right now. I'm afraid that we're going to lose our connection soon. So before we do, I think we should probably sign off of here pretty soon, if that's all right, guys. Because
Do you need to get into the cellar with the wizard and everything?
I just might. I might. But I'll be eating chicken while I do it.
Uh,
When we come back, are you going to look at the two of us and go, I had this weird dream, and you were in it, and you were in it.
And
and I was
and you were
swirling
there.
in the
You
air
were
in my
there.
bed. My bed was just swirling in the
And I'll
You know,
start
for
off like a
years,
light end color.
For years, the ringtone on my phone from my wife was that piece of music whenever the Wicked Witch would appear, that dun 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 dun
Oh
dun,
yeah,
dun,
right.
until she finally found it very insulting and told me to take it off.
All right, guys. I'm sorry. I should probably cut
Take
this
cover.
off so I can take cover. Thanks. Hey, Scott. We're going to go ahead and end this a little bit early because I got a nasty storm outside and I might
Okay,
have to take cover. So thank you so much. Really
love
appreciate
this.
you joining us and would love to have you back.
Absolutely.
I'll
That'd be
be back.
great. We'll get some on set stuff. Okay,
You're very
man.
welcome.
Thanks again, Scott.
Take
Appreciate
care,
it.
buddy.
That was
Wow.
awesome, wasn't it?
Dude, I mean, not only is he obviously a genius, but how he looks at everything, and it's there's so much more to what he does than what the normal person would think. Oh yeah, well he's got a bag like I'll do our famous Carrot Top thing, like his bag of props. No,
Yeah.
it's not even close to that.
Well, man, this was probably my favorite episode. I mean,
Well,
Scott
thanks
is
to
just
thanks to my
absolutely
mom
fantastic.
and maybe my best friend up the that have been on the show before. I'll make sure I let them know that.
Right. Well, the bar has been set so
It
high,
has.
and I'm a little biased because of the time that Scott and I spent on set, and it
And
was just absolutely so wonderful to see him again after a couple of decades. It's just crazy.
that blew me away to think that literally he probably has not seen your face. Last time he saw
Yeah.
your face, you had long hair and you were, you were 30 years younger, and all of a sudden, boom, it's like you feel like time has stood still because you still are the same person, same personality,
Yeah.
same cheesy grin, all the shit, it's all the same.
Right. Cheesy.
I'm
What do
kidding.
you mean by that? Oh man, but thanks so much, my friend. I told you, by the way, I texted you and said we have an incredible guest.
Yes.
I couldn't say who, of course,
Oh,
but I was like, you will not be disappointed.
no, you are
And
absolutely right.
sure.
And he's funny. You
Yeah.
said he's creative, clever, funny, and a
Yeah.
genius. It's like I
Yeah.
think you hit nail on the head. Well, listen,
Absolutely.
I'll let you get down to your little bomb shelter slash tornado shelter.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks, buddy.
Later,
dude.
Tom and Dee.
Tom and Dee.
Two middle-aged idiots.